Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura, and alongside Joey Chavala, we have a special guest for you known as Orange Sock, as we are joined by Houston Dynamo defender Griffin Dorsey. Griffin, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Griffin, this is your third year with the club, in which you have seen multiple coaches come and go. So let's, talk about your time here in Houston, man. The MLS regular season is entering its final stretch, and the club has, been putting pretty strong fight in every competition disputed so far. So how would you describe, the difference in the locker room when it comes to the spirit and maybe the mentality in 2023?
Yeah, I'd say that right now for us, it's a big focus on the last stretch of games. We've done a great job to get ourselves to this point, but right now we're just trying to focus on the last stretch of games and accomplish some goals that we have on the interior here in the locker room.
You've recently taken over the right back position for the team. You played that role most of the time here in Houston, but have you adapted to that defensive position when you started off as more of an attacker?
Yeah, I feel like I've been here for close to 3 years, as Rudy said, and over that time, I've kind of learned the defensive role of that position. I think I still am learning, but I'd say all in a very positive way, as players tend to. I love the role, and I fully embrace the defending aspect of that position. I don't know if either of you guys have been defenders, but I feel like defenders can look at each other and get excited about defending. There's a sincere environment and a competitiveness that goes into defenders, and I feel like I fit that mold pretty well.
And talking a little bit of your attacking part, we know that inverted wingers is something that Ben Olsen implements, and you've played on the right as a right-footed player, but you tend to sneak in a lot and hit some pretty good booms with your left foot, man. Can you take us through, what goes through your head, I guess, when you see an attacking opportunity? And is that something that Ben Olsen asked you to find?
Yeah, I think, you guys kind of hit it spot on. Joe, you specifically about me being an attacker,
Mm-hmm.
Attacking runs through me. That's what I think about. And I think the adaptation for me is understanding that I am a defender first, because I am so attack minded as a player. So for me, it's just about, it's about sometimes trying to balance the amount of attacking I do. But, to answer your question, when it comes to the attacking third, that's where I feel the most comfortable. And that's where, I'm all guns a-blazing, ready to go, ready to get shots, ready to get crosses and try to put goals in the back of the net.
And you've been mentioned both by Hector Herrera and by Ben Olsen in press conferences that they're extremely impressed by your professionalism, whether your work ethic or in the gym or your nutrition. And apart from playing and learning alongside Herrera, how does getting that recognition from a player of his caliber motivate you?
Yeah, I've said this multiple times. I think, there are very few players that you play with that have just that kind of it factor. And I've played with a couple of them myself. And there are a couple of them here in Houston, but Hector's just one of those players. And so when somebody like that who has that caliber of excellence shouts you out like that, it's special, and that's something I definitely take to heart.
Well, this weekend, Griffin, we'll know that gets a winner for the Leagues Cup. But Houston left the tournament in a difficult way, a hard way. But what do you think about the tournament, man, and the opportunity to play against strong sides like maybe Santos Laguna and Pachuca from Mexico?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I've done CONCACAF Champions League when I was in Toronto for a little while. I think those competitions are fantastic, and I think that the Leagues Cup specifically was set up pretty awesome in my opinion. It was a great opportunity for players to get opportunity, and it was also, a great opportunity for competition outside the MLS and outside CONCACAF Champions League for us and Liga MX teams.
You're originally from Colorado. You played at Indiana University. What got you interested originally in the sport, and what were some of the players you looked up to in the early days?
Yeah, so I would say what got me into the sport were friends. I had a bunch of buddies who played, and they enjoyed playing. But once they got me hooked on it, I was all in, and kind of from the second I started kicking around a soccer ball, I knew I really enjoyed it. I was always an athlete growing up, and I played basketball, baseball, the usual plethora of sports American kids play. But once I stuck to soccer, it really stuck with me and was something that I worked for. And so I'd say, my friends are the ones to kind of hold that as the motivation for me to start playing. And then obviously to continue.
Well, we know you had a standout career, in college. You got drafted 6th overall by Toronto in 2019. But things didn't, pan out in Canada, I guess. But former coach Tab Ramos brought you in Houston after you were waived by Toronto, of course. But we have seen you play a lot for the Dynamo since your arrival, Griff, with the 3 different coaches. So would you say you're playing, maybe with a chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, for sure. I think as an athlete, as you take strides in your career, whether it's a jump from high school to college or college to professional, you kind of go through a learning period. And in each of those learning periods that you go through, you find different situations to motivate you. And I would say 1,000%, there are a plethora of situations in my career that motivate me to continue pushing. And yes, being in Toronto and having that situation happen is definitely one of those. And it's something that pushes me every day to better myself and better who I am as a player, who I am as a husband, who I am as a son. So yeah, all of those types of situations.
You've been here for 3 years now. How well have you adjusted to Houston's heat? And also, what have you enjoyed so far about the city and the fans here?
Yeah, I think 3 years is kind of enough time to call it home. I was in Canada for 2.5 years. That's where I met my wife. By the time I was done with that 2.5 years, I was kind of like, all right, this feels like home. And that's right when I left. So this being the longest stint in my career where I've been in one place, it feels like home. And for me, the heat I've fully embraced it. That feels like a part of home. And I think it is something that we as a team can take advantage of because we understand how brutal it is for teams to come in here. But yeah, I'd also say the city itself it's amazing in the fact that it has so many cultures. I feel like you experience it in a team environment like this where a lot of guys come from a lot of different places, but the city itself feels like it is very diverse, and that is awesome. And that plays into the role of food. It plays in the role of entertainment. You can find absolutely anything in Houston, and that's something I really enjoy. And on the fan side, I get a lot of love from the fans, and I love that. And I embrace that, and I really enjoy the energy that the fans give us. And I think this year specifically, it feels like the aura in the stadium, the aura around the team has been a lot more positive than what I saw maybe the last 2 years.
And outside of the sport, what do you like to do? What are your interests in your spare time?
Yeah, so I spent 1.5 years at Indiana University, so I'm still finishing my degree. I actually graduate in December. which is fantastic. I've been kind of plugging away for the last like 5 years. So that'll be nice to be done. But that takes up a majority of my time. Obviously I have a wife, I have a dog, so those things take up some time as well. But other than that, I do a lot of meditation. That's just something that I enjoy doing, sitting down, sitting in silence. Maybe it's calming music and just breathing. That's something that grounds me, that makes me feel, connected to myself, connected to others. And then I play a little bit of guitar as well.
Nice. What do you like to play?
I'm an old school guy. I listen to the same music my dad listens to. So, I got a bunch of different stuff. Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd is probably my number one song, but I got a little bit of Beatles, I got a little bit of Grateful Dead, kind of all over the map when it comes to alternative rock.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a drummer too. I like to play a lot of that old school stuff too.
Yeah, I love blues too. Like I want to get into the blues jamming stuff. My pentatonic scale isn't very great, but I'm getting there.
Nice. You play any more like heavy stuff?
No, not really. No, I stick to the more calm alternative rock. That's kind of more my vibe.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would definitely go against meditation, man. You kidding me?
Hey, man, that's a form of meditating, I swear. Sometimes you just got to get it all out. Sometimes you can relax and calm it down. Sometimes you just go for it.
That's true. Well, Griffin, man, thank you so much. Any words you have for the Houston Dynamo fans as we enter this final stretch of the regular season?
All I'd say is keep supporting us, guys, through thick and thin. We want more than anything to make the playoffs, and we're going to push as hard as we possibly can. And so stick with us, keep supporting us, and keep coming out and supporting us.
Thank you so much again, Griffin Dorsey. I call you Dorsey when I write stuff. So yeah, calling you Griffin is a little weird, but you know what? I just thought of something. Were your parents like fans of Harry Potter? Is that where the Griffin Dorsey comes from?
I swear, man, I've asked my parents that so many times, and they've convinced me now that it had nothing to do with Harry Potter, but it was right around the same time when the books came out. Yeah. So I'm still skeptical, but yeah, that it does make sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Your dad's super awesome. He came out to greeted a bunch of the fans last year when we played away to the Rapids.
Yeah.
Super cool dude.
No, he's a super cool dude. Super chill guy. He's got a little goatee. He loves sports more than anything. That's his thing.
That's awesome.
But yeah, thanks again for joining us today, man, at Bayou City Soccer. We wish you all the best the rest of the season, and maybe we can talk later, man.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Griffin.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.